Welcome back to Coffee for Closers. Alex Wellings, as always, here, and we are in store for a real treat, all about life insurance here today on the Coffee for Closers episode. And we're here with the life training expert, Mr. Brad Pate. Nobody better out there to be teaching on this subject, and we're blessed to have him in the studio talking all about the neat tips and tricks and everything out there that's helped him close a ton of life insurance business. As he says affectionately, he pays his condo bills and everything with these renewals. And man, Brad, thanks for coming on the show.
Very welcome, Alex.
So today we're going to talk through your process with Fed employees when you're out there. This is something for those of you out there that are maybe dealing with the Fed appointments right now. You're noticing that, okay, 20% of these are pretty darn good and they're 59.5, and I can do some TSP work and some real retirement planning, but what do I do with the rest of them? And that rest of them there's always an opportunity for life insurance sales. And Brad has mastered that. That's why we've always had him out in person at our training events, teaching about these tools and the products that he uses to replace the FEGLI life insurance, which is their group life insurance policy. So Brad's going to walk us through his step-by-step process, basically selling me, Brad. So we're going to walk through. I'll ask you questions, how you handle this. We're going to bring up on the screen all the forms and flyers and everything like that you use. But maybe lay us some foundation. Why'd you start selling life insurance? What's the real reason every federal employee needs to replace their life insurance, or most of them at least?
Well, if you want me to really go back on the history, 27 years ago.
It was, yeah, you've got a history, man.
Yeah, I got into the federal market when there was no federal market. And,
right.
And as I've said 100 times, working with you guys and the agents, if I had Megastar 27 years ago, I wouldn't be here.
Right.
I'd probably be on my little island somewhere.
Right.
Okay?
You'd be retired. Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
But what I just to give you a brief history, I started out working with pretty much postal and VA employees, mostly postal, doing disability insurance because they don't have any disability insurance even as of today. But you can make a living off federal disability insurance, but where the key is replacing their FEGLI,
right,
which is a term life, with I use universal life or an IUL or whatever. So that's how I progressed doing the life insurance sales. And what I like about, instead of just selling term life insurance, which is a lot of people like to sell, I used to jokingly say, what's the difference between selling term life insurance and used cars? Nothing, because you get paid one commission and you're done.
Right.
At least universal life. And no, I don't sell the cash value. These are not the bloated whole life policies. These are legitimate universal life policies. The way we have it set up, you get paid every year after the first year commission. So and it helps the federal employee, and it's a good product.
I understand. It's like it's a no-brainer. I mean, obviously we've been in the Fed market for a long time here at Megastar, but a lot of advisors out there, they know it's a no-brainer. They just don't want to deal with the headaches of life insurance. Right. It's a conversation they're not really familiar with. A lot of these guys and gals out there, they've been doing retirement advice, and this doesn't really fall in line with retirement advice. It does, but it's out of their comfort zone. It's out of their comfort zone. It's one of those things where, some people are big believers in life insurance. Some people aren't. How do I handle the objections to that? How do I walk them through, a better solution? They don't really understand what's going to happen with FEGLI. Some do. Some advisors do. But you've found a way to make this an easy, run-of-the-mill operation. And so maybe we'll start with, where do you go right from the get-go when you're talking with a federal employee? Where do you start with them and then drag us all the way through presenting the life insurance and how you ease into it? So if I'm a federal employee and I'm in my mid-40s or in my 50s, I'm still 10 years or more away from retirement, walk me through your process, okay? And you sent me some documents up. So where do you start? Okay,
first off, let me start with the agents, and then I'll go into our presentation.
Fair enough.
For the agents, just to let you know, I use American National. Okay, if you get licensed through us with American National, I will bend over backwards. I'll walk you through this. I'll do the screen sharing. I'll do whatever I can. And the products that we're going to talk about, I don't get into them in depth because there's no reason, but these are life insurance that we can sell to federal employees through payroll deduction. That is unbelievably important because your persistency goes through the roof. But more importantly, you can offer these same products to your clients outside the federal market. So if you get comfortable working with federal employees through payroll deduction or not, I use payroll deduction because it's simple. You can work with your other clients. So you get comfortable with the product from American National.
Right.
First off, when you get your leads, and these things come in fast and furious sometimes, you focus on the 59.5 and older first. I'm sorry, that's just what we do.
Sure.
But probably 70 to 80% plus or minus are under 59.5. And most agents go, what do I do with that? Well, if you're willing to learn a little bit, and I will bend over backwards, I'll give you my cell phone, I'll do what I can to train you. The life insurance is like shooting a whole bunch of little squirrels, rabbits, and maybe a couple big deer that you're going for the elephant down the road. We all have these stories, but probably right now with this COVID, probably 60% of my annuity sales right now come from a FEGLI replacement or a life insurance sale I did years ago.
Right.
I just did one, amazing. I don't sell term life insurance, but I sold one, I guess, 20 years ago because the guy called me up and said, hey, my policy's coming due. And I went, wow, he's 62 years old.
Right.
The light goes off. But anyway, here's the way I go about doing this. You make the appointment, or the appointment's already made for you if you get the FEGLI leads. You call up the client. I go a couple different routes. Some of these, as anybody knows with the phone sales, some of these federal employees are willing to bend over backwards. They'll give you all the information you want. Some are just like, well, I just want to know this, this, and this. So you'll answer the questions however you can, to the best of your knowledge or whatever else. If I have a client that has FEGLI or needs life insurance, what I will do first off is I will say, how about if I do this? How about if we set up a second appointment? I need to get a little bit more information from you so I can go over a printout of what your federal benefits are.
Right.
And literally 90% of them go, I'd love that. Could you talk about I talk about the FERS pension, the TSP, and then their insurances. And they don't even know what the pension is. So you already got a leg up on them. The information I get is on this sheet here. It's for the, it says Understanding and Maximizing Your Federal Benefits Seminar. I use that one.
Send me that. Let me bring that up on the screen. Will, can you bring that up on the screen for us?
See, I use this sheet when I'm out doing my seminars, traveling all over the country. And
is it this one right here?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, this is the back side of this. This is the information you need. And it's just simple information. It's not proprietary information. Date of birth, are you civil service or FERS? 90% of them or 99% are FERS now. You just get this information here, okay? What was your date of hire? When would you like to retire? I even say, give me a couple ages, 60, 62, 65. The more information you can get from them, and then when you do have the second appointment, the more you're going to become advantageous to them about helping them. Then I get the FEGLI. You come down here when it says FEGLI no number 1, the FEGLI optional codes. If you look at the leave and earning statements, LES, that we have on the producer's website, the PRC.
That's this section right here at the bottom?
Yes.
What you're talking about?
Yeah.
This is the current earnings. Oh, no, this is the deductions box. Okay. I got
this is a snapshot when I was doing my VA employees in DOD, Department of Defense. If you look down here on this example here, you've got FEGLI type, the code. You always want to ask them what the code is.
Yeah, that's important because you see on the other side too, right there, where it's
got two different
options.
codes.
It's going to say A and B.
Right.
That's not the code you're talking about. You're talking about this code right here, this XO code, this one right here where my mouse is, this blue number 1. Okay, so you're grabbing this XO code.
But I also ask them, I say, because sometimes it'll be flipped. Don't ask me why. On some of these leave and earning statements, it's flipped. I go, look on the left-hand side under deductions.
Yep.
You have some that says FEGLI and code. They'll give you the code. And then I say, do me a favor, go directly across so you see something that says FEGLI optional.
Yeah.
To me, it's the more you can get information out of them, the longer you stay on the phone with them. It's just, wow, I didn't know what that means.
Yeah, the more they feel comfortable with you, they're opening up.
Exactly on that, okay? So I get this information here, and then I say, let's set the appointment for next Tuesday at 10 o'clock, whatever's convenient for them, okay? Then I'll send the information, you guys.
So that's the first call?
That's the first call, yeah.
So if Megastar sets you an appointment tomorrow, you're calling them and you're getting all the way to this point and then you're like, okay, so you answer their questions. I had some question about my pension maybe or something like that. And you answer it as best you can. And then you say, okay, so one of the great things that we can do for you to kind of get more answers out of you or for you.
Help you.
Is to do this, this, and this, my value add, right? Get a report run for you, benefit analysis. in order for us to really do that, I need a couple pieces of information. Let me ask you, do you have any of these things? Not asking them to send you their leave an earnings statement or their TSP statement. That's a big mistake I keep hearing from advisors across the business. They're asking them to send them through the internet or in the mail or something like that, their statements. And they're like, they're not going to do that. No. You're better off getting it on the phone is what you're saying.
Exactly. And some of the things that I've found out over the years, some of these you're dealing with engineers, accountants, they're the numbers people, and they're easy to deal with sometimes. So they always think they know more than you, which they don't. They'll say, well, how can you help me? And you'll say simple things. And guys, this is kind of stuff you write down. They go, do you understand you have a pension? And they go, what do you mean?
Yeah, they don't know they have a pension. They're like, they think their TSP is their pension.
Exactly.
And then they're like, okay.
But you talk about, no, you got your first pension. Matter of fact, if you look at the leave and earnings statement, we get you copies of this, guys. It'll say FERS retirement. And you'll look at the biweekly deduction, and they'll go, wow, I didn't know that. And even if you have somebody that says, yeah, I know what the pension is, and they're like, well, I don't need your help. You say, are you married? You go, yeah. Do you know your spouse controls your pension? And then they go,
what?
Right. They start backing up. When they start backing up, you got them.
My spouse controller? Yeah,
right. Okay. And then you can even say, do you want to keep your spouse on health insurance after retirement? Well, of course. This is what I can help you with. Do not answer the question right then and there. Okay. Tell them you need to get a little bit more information. On the second appointment, you'll have these printouts, and we'll go over that at a later date, but we're talking about life insurance right now. Okay. So now, the second appointment, you get them on the phone. I go over, since they're under 59 and a half, we're talking about life insurance. I go over their pension first.
Yep.
Depending on how old they are. And this client here we're going to talk about is age 47. Okay. So it's not a big thing with his pension except to know that he's going to have a phenomenal pension at retirement. Okay.
Right.
So then I go over his pension, thrift savings plan, or you could go thrift savings plan or pension. It doesn't matter. But I leave the FEGLI life insurance till the end.
Okay.
Where I'm going to make my sell at and my commission, I always leave at the end. Okay. In this example here that I'm using, this is a 47-year-old VA employee. And we're gonna show you a screenshot in a second.
Yeah, bring this up here on the screen again, Will. This is what we're looking at here,
right there. Okay, you got a 47-year-old making $75,000 a year. Okay.
Okay.
He has what they call Z1. This is an actual client of mine. Okay. Z1 means he has basic life insurance, which is pretty much his salary rounded up to at $2,000, rounded up to the next zero.
So that's the 77,000.
Right.
Okay. Yep.
He's got option A, which is 10,000.
Yep.
And in this case, he has option B, which is 5 times, so it'd be 375,000. That's where the money is. Option A and option B is where the money is being spent. Yep. And then he has one-time family.
All right, so that's this option C over here.
Right, which is there's a sale right there if you think about it. He only got 5,000 on his spouse, and he probably thinks he has more. Okay. So what he's paying here, he's paying $39.09 biweekly for life insurance.
Gotcha.
Not a lot of money. Okay. Yeah. But here's the point. This is what you have to show. At age 50, it's going to jump to $59.72. Now, this is only with a typical cost of living increase. This doesn't have anything to do if they get a promotion, if they get a locale pay. Let's say they move from, we're here in Tampa. Let's say they move from Tampa to San Francisco. I did a seminar out there. It's the highest locale pay. So you may get an extra 30% bump up in your salary, which means you're going to get a 30% bump up in the premiums.
Yes.
Okay. So this is a lot of stuff you have to do. But in this example, they go from $39 biweekly to basically $60 biweekly. At age 55, they're going to go to $114, and then 60, they're at $260 biweekly.
Yikes.
Okay. And this is term life insurance. This is a 5-year group term life insurance from MetLife.
So $564 a month.
That's a month. Yeah. Yikes. And if you look down here at age, they say they retire at 65.
Yeah.
If you look on the very, very right-hand side, it says paid premium. And this is not even the years they worked prior.
Yeah.
They paid $68,000, $68,389, and they're going to end up with basically $27,000 worth of life insurance.
So you'll have paid in, if he kept this policy all the way through 70.
Yeah, this is actually him showing keeping this life insurance forever, which nobody does. But at age 70, he's up to $111,000. Okay. I can show you how to manipulate these.
Yeah, because what they'll do is they'll go 75% reduction, and they end up the coverage just ceases at 65, right?
Yeah, see, I show this a lot of times for the worst case scenario if you want to keep your health insurance. Yeah. What happens is people come back when they get a little bit older and they go, oh, I'm in pretty good health. I'll just keep my insurance. And I had a story years ago I won't get into, but the guy said that and he ended up having stage 3 cancer with his lip. He got it fixed, but guess what? On his MIB, it said stage 3 cancer. We couldn't get him life insurance, okay? But let's go back here. You talk about this to the client, and what I do, guys, if you're doing the virtual, I use the 2 screens on my laptop.
Right.
So the one screen, it's what I have on my programs. The second screen is what the client can see. So I just drag these proposals over and go over it with them on the phone, and it makes it so much easier. And at some point, I actually want to do a video on how I do that.
Yeah, we'll do all that here in coming videos or whatever.
But here, if you're looking at from 39, 59, 114, 260 biweekly, okay? It doesn't take a genius to figure out this is a bad deal, okay?
It's just skyrocketing.
Right, exactly, okay?
Right.
So here's what I do is I bring over, I say Bob or whatever the gentleman's name, I say, what I do is this is the thing I help people with probably 5 to 7 times a week, is I replace their FEGLI. What I do is I use permanent life insurance.
But that's important. You're telling them, and that's like a powerful statement that you're saying right there to the consumer. You're letting that federal employee know that this is something that other people do. It's groupthink.
Right.
Right. Like they feel like, okay, you sat down and you're an expert in doing this. But not only that, a bunch of my Fed employee friends have done the same thing.
Right.
It's a no-brainer.
That's why I say I do this 5 to 7 times a week.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Right.
Okay. And a lot of people, let me take a step back. They enrolled in this FEGLI life insurance when they were hired.
When they were hired, and then they never really look at it again. And there's open enrollment every once in a while. I mean,
last time was 7 years ago.
7 years ago, open enrollment. That's the last time it came out. So you're talking about this client really having no idea. A lot of them, like when you tell them, hey, check out this deduction. What's your FEGLI deduction? Oh, I didn't even know I still was paying for that.
Well, think about this. When they're hired, and I used to work with Tampa, St. Pete, and Orlando. I did the new employees every 2 weeks. I did like a little bread route. And I got tired of doing my little bread route.
Yeah.
And what happens is they get jammed all these papers in front of them. Yeah. They sign.
That's like any employer. Like any employer starts to just dump people with their benefits information like day 1, day 2, and they got to make a decision by the end of the week, and then you forget about it.
Yeah, the one thing, guys, I will tell you, a lot of people come from this and they go, wow, these federal employees know more about their benefits than I do. No, they don't.
They have no clue.
They don't.
They have like some surface water cooler information, and on the other side of that barrier is
always wrong.
It's always wrong. It's always wrong. It's always wrong, and it's cluelessness on the other side of it, where like if you can just break through that barrier, you're in a game. I mean, you're in control. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So on the FEGLI life insurance, they know they have it. They have no clue how much. This is why these proposals are so important. Now, what I do is, if you go to the permanent life insurance, there again.
Here, bring this up again.
This is not term life insurance. This is not the old whole life. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll use, with American National, I have two products. I use the guaranteed issue UL, SUGL, and the IUL. In this case here, it's just a normal life insurance sale. It's got all the riders. It's got the terminal, the critical, the chronic. It's got long-term care built in and everything else. But with this sheet here, the way we got it presented here, I've got 4 different examples. The one thing I've learned over the years, this one sheet here, guys, is probably worth $1 million.
This is a simple sheet.
Yeah, but it's taken me 20 years to come up with it. Okay, it's like anything else.
It's like perfect in its simplicity, right?
Right, because it works. And I have 3 examples here, and these are fillable forms, guys. I usually write this stuff out, but we've got these things fillable. So I've got 250, 200, 150, and 100,000. This is permanent life insurance. It's almost like a term to age 100. It builds a little bit of equity, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah, that's not the purpose, right?
No.
Yeah.
This has got lifetime coverage to age 100, or you can go to 121 if you want. This has got return of all premiums paid, depending on if the client keeps it for 15 or 20 years. They'll get all the premiums back, which is kind of nice.
And you're explaining that?
Explaining that, okay.
And then you hit them with living benefits?
All the living benefits, terminal, critical, long-term care. I won't get into this.
You're explaining that to the client too, what that means? Okay.
Yeah. Talking to a bunch of ages right now.
No, I know, but I mean, it's important for them to know what you're doing and saying to the client. That's where they're getting hung up, right? They sit down with this person and they're starting to walk them through and they don't understand.
The best thing about it, it's on the sheet here. If you look at the sheet, you just walk it through.
Boom, boom, boom. It's as simple as that.
And then you go back to the FEGLI and say, this is term life insurance. Here's the difference, and I've used this for years. Their FEGLI life insurance, the group term life from MetLife, is like living in an apartment complex for 30 years. What do you get when you move out? Nothing, right? The permanent life insurance that we're offering through American National, the simplified issue, I think you can go up to $1 million age 50, or 500,000 age 60. Simplified issue, non-medical, no blood work, no anything, just answer a few questions. They can get all their premiums back after 20 years, or they can actually turn this into a paid up policy if they had to. That's the example that you have. So group term life FEGLI, live in an apartment for 30 years, or the permanent, you can actually get something back. It's an equity play.
House, yeah.
You're exactly, okay?
Right.
So in this example here, I've got 250, 200 right on. Now, American National has a price break at 250, so this is a no-brainer. If you look at the biweekly premiums, in this case here, it's 103 biweekly for 250. 200 is 122.90 biweekly. So this is a no-brainer, guys. It's just the way it is.
If you're not going to do the 150, then you're doing 250.
Right, exactly,
right?
okay? Yep. So let's say we come up here on the right-hand side, it says cost after FEGLI savings.
Yeah, what does that mean?
So this is, if we go back to the FEGLI proposal or the sheet of what they have now, they're paying $39 biweekly.
Okay.
Yep.
So we're paying.
So what I do is I take the $39 biweekly and I minus it from the 103.
So $64.
Right. They're going to be paying $64 more biweekly, which is more now. But the point is they should be done with life insurance. They have all the coverage to age 100. It doesn't go away like the FEGLI. You get a return of all your premiums, 15, 20 years, and you have the living benefits.
So you're going to pay $64 more by having this policy.
Right.
But it's not going to skyrocket on you.
You're done.
You're going to have it for the rest of your life.
Done.
It's set in stone.
Payroll deduction.
Payroll deducted.
The FEGLI life insurance is payroll deduction. And guys, once they leave the federal government, same premiums.
Nothing changes.
Portable. I can even show you how to take the premiums out of their pension.
Right.
Okay. Payroll deduction for life on that. Okay.
Wow.
And I've even got sheets where I took the application from American National and I made a little cheat sheet up. It's about 3 or 4 pages. So you can fill this out. Simple. Okay.
That's important too, that you're able to continue the payroll deduction throughout
their life.
The whole life, including the pension. That's just incredible.
Guys, anybody that sold disability insurance, life insurance, long-term care, anything that you have to get a payment, it's hard to get that check. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is payroll deduction. If you bring up it says PDA, payroll deduction authorization. This is the form that we use.
You sent that to me too, right?
Yep.
Let me see here.
It's.
Oh, I know where it is.
There it is. Yeah. It's an Excel spreadsheet.
You got it in Excel. It prints a lot nicer than that though, right?
Yeah, it's a lot nicer. But anyway, all it is, if you can see it, see if you can center that and blow it up a little bit.
I can blow it up. Yep.
All you have is at the top here, and you send this to me because I want to make sure that the money gets from the federal government to the insurance company, okay? So all you're doing is you're getting their Social Security number, which you have to have for the life insurance anyway.
Yep.
You got their name, their address, and everything else. This is the payroll deduction form that we use, and this is all you have to do.
Right.
Once you filled out the application that you're going to email it back to them, American National has guys, the easiest online application in the world.
Right.
You shoot it to them, the client, they click on it, electronic signature, comes back to the
I've been
the
a fly on the wall in a couple of these sales, and it's just a boom, boom, boom process. It's incredible.
Guys. This is what you do.
You can bring that down now. We're done with that.
Once you get the client off the once you finish filling out the application, tell them they're going to email it to them. Say, now what I need to do is start payroll so I can bind your coverage. Keyword when you say bind your coverage. They'll go, okay, you have them log into their pay center. Okay. DOD, VA, all this is called MyPay. You have USPS, you have Employee Express, but don't worry about that now. I can walk you through this if you get to that point. So you have them go to MyPay. They know what MyPay is. It's basically their HR department online now.
Right.
So you say we need to start an allotment.
Okay.
They all know where that is. It's on the home page at the top. So they click on allotment. Now, guys, this sounds like it's a lot. It's the simplest thing you'll ever do. Mm-hmm. Once they click on allotment, they're going to have fields that they have to fill out. The first field says bank routing number. If you want to bring that back up, or we can
bring that back up one more time.
That payroll form, the bank routing number, if you look here, is 061000227. It's just like any other checking account that you would go, Bank of America, Wells Fargo,
Gotcha.
Whoever. Okay, So you're putting in, and they're typing this in, okay? Then you say, go to the allotment number.
They're typing it in their MyPay?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Okay. Then they're going to type in this 8776 right on down there, and you put the last 4 of their social.
As the last 4 digits.
Right. That's what's going to track their money, okay? Then it's going to say type of account. You have 2 different accounts. You have checking and you have savings, okay? We're going to click checking. And then you're going to have the payroll deduction amount. And with this the $250,000 permanent life insurance, since you're going to add the 103 plus the fee, and that's what you're going to come up with. It's about $106, $107.
$107
bi-weekly.
This is the fee for the allotment.
The third-party administrator, right?
Yeah, so it's a TPA. Yeah, you have to have that. Okay.
And why we use a TPA? The TPA, if we ever have any question on, did the allotment stop, did the allotment stop, whatever, we call a TPA up. They handle it. You will get paid probably a month faster.
That's the thing,
with
right?
Commissions.
The problem is like because the without a TPA, you're waiting forever for them to get enough paid in policy premiums because it's biweekly dumps, right? But the insurance company is looking for monthly, right?
Exactly. And I've done this when I found the third party administrator about 20 years ago, it opened up my world, honestly, guys. Okay, because I have my persistency is probably about my low persistency. I think is 93%. And there's actually bonuses built into your renewals and commissions when you get to the persistency, okay? I mean, that's unheard of in our industry.
93%, folks. 93%.
But it is. Think about it. It's out of sight, out of mind. Once you start the payroll deduction, they don't change it. Now, once I've walked them through this, they have to click a confirm. And I say, do me a favor, read this back to me. And I'll say, what's the bank routing number? And they'll go
back through
061, blah, blah, blah.
Gotcha.
What's the account? What you want to do is you want to validate this.
Right.
Okay? Because here's how it works. Money comes from the Treasury.
Yep.
Okay? Treasury sends it to whatever department. Okay? Then they turn around and they send it to Wells Fargo.
Yep.
This example. Okay?
Yeah.
Wells Fargo sends it to the TPA, third party administrator. Then the third-party administrator with this sheet, and I have to have this sheet, they send it to American National. It sounds like a lot, but all we're doing is you're sending me this sheet.
It's a lot more automated and a lot less troubling than what you think out there, folks. It's really, really a simple process. But again, Brad offers a whole bunch of opportunities for folks to learn this. You've dedicated, doesn't cost you guys a penny. So it's a service that you do for everybody as a trainer. So
a lot of times what I've done is if I know you have a sale and it's basically 100%, you'll tell me, Brad, I'm talking to this client on Wednesday at 4:30.
Right.
If you get into the point where you need to do payroll deduction, and I've told clients to do this all the time, or agents to say, tell the federal employees, say, they just changed the way we do allotments. Do you mind if I bring on my allotment specialist? They don't care. You do a 3-party, you call me up, and I'll go, hey, Bob, how you doing? All I need is take 5 minutes. I'm going to walk you through how to do payroll deduction.
It's almost like, do you want this to run? I can make sure that this runs exactly like your FEGLI.
I'm the one that pours the gas in the tank.
Yeah. Is there anything, would you like it to come out just like your FEGLI deductions did?
Exactly.
Of course I do. Oh, okay, fantastic. Let me get my TPA or my third-party administrator specialist, my TPA on the line. What his job is to do is to make sure that the allotment is set up correctly. Have you ever known any of your colleagues that have an allotment? Okay, well, it's very common with those that have replaced it. Make them feel good and comfortable like other people do this.
Right.
You bring on an allotment specialist or you do it yourself, whatever you feel comfortable doing.
And just to let you know, on the VA, just for an example, and most other federal agencies, the government has 8 allotment slots.
Yep.
They use this for everything, for paying for cars, paying for houses, college planning.
You'll see them on a leaving earnings statement.
Right.
Like if you get somebody's leaving earnings statement, you'll find one of their deductions has an allotment. I love that because it makes the advisor look like a rock star. Say, okay, well, you got a few allotments here. So what is it that you're taking money out of your paycheck for? Oh, how'd you know I had that? Oh, or, TSP loans is on there. I mean,
all that
it's shocking what you can find from just the pay stub,
And think about this. We can do payroll deduction life insurance on the client, on their spouse. And if you really want to get into college planning or building wealth, you can sell them an IUL.
Yes.
On that. Okay.
Yes.
And these are the same things, under age 50 up to $1 million, non-medical. Up to age 60, 500,000. Okay. And American National, like most of these companies, and
Under age 50, non-med?
From under age 60 to $500,000. From 18 to 50 up to $1 million.
Gotcha.
Non-med. Okay. And from what I've understood and what I've done this over the years, about 80 to 85% of these go right through within about 5 days. They're running MIB, they're running motor vehicle report and everything else, like everybody else is doing.
Right.
But the IUL is just one extra page that they have to sign. It's not as cumbersome as what is if you're doing a paper app. And you'll get into, a lot of times I'll talk, do you have young children or whatever else? And I go, yeah. I said, have you ever thought about college planning? Yeah, you have 529, Coverdale's and everything else, but what if they don't go to college? You do an IUL, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're replacing their FEGLI, which we know they need it.
Yeah.
And you're doing college planning. Now, let's say that you're talking to somebody and all they have is on their leave and earning statement, it says CO or basic life insurance.
Yeah, that's the big issue. Like they're starting to wise up that option B isn't a great option.
Terrible
So
option.
people aren't buying it in the first place and they end up with C0. What am I supposed to do as an advisor?
I would take C0. It says C0.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's all they have is basic. But here, you just ask me, so, you're making $75,000 a year. You have $77,000. Is that enough if something were to happen to you? Well, I never thought about it. Well, how about if on our second appointment, I'll go over your pension. You can always go back to that second appointment. You still fill out this same permanent life. So you even sell them $100,000. Guys, I don't get into commissions because that's not what I do. But if you're doing a $65 biweekly life case, most time it doesn't take you to sell one or two of these, maybe one a week.
It's like the first thing you should think about, I feel like, when you see somebody with a C0, basic only. Here's 77,000, right? I would start to ask that client, say, what was the purpose? Why did you get this life insurance?
Right.
$77,000 worth of life insurance you bought. What was the purpose of it? Well, take care of my wife if something bad was to happen. Okay. So it's not taxed, so that's fantastic. But essentially, you're telling your wife, who's either working at home, maybe they're not working at home, whatever. You might ask and find out what the wife is doing.
Right.
But then once they tell you, it's like, okay, so essentially, if they're the major income earner, I tried to figure out if they're got a stay-at-home wife or they're major income earner. You're saying you're giving your wife 1 year's worth of salary to get her way up to, or his way up to, $77,000. So if she's a stay-at-home wife or he's a stay-at-home husband, you saying, okay, you got 1 year to get to,
even if they work,
$77,000 worth. Yeah, even if you're not around and you're asking them to make up $77,000 worth of income. You're saying 1 year you have to do that. No. So there's your case right there. That's why people go beyond the basic only. And why haven't you thought about getting more life insurance? Well, I don't know. I didn't really think about that, especially like a 47-year-old like we're talking about right here. And if he only had, well, now this person, I can tell why he's got Z5 or whatever.
Z1, right?
Z1.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's got a ton of life insurance for a reason, because he wants his wife or whoever to be set up for a few years to figure out what they're going to do to replace his income.
Right.
That's what you want. You got to give somebody a few years in the workforce to get there. But anyway, so C0, you've got somebody there.
And they have, I just come back to you, if you suggest to them, well, have you ever thought about getting more life insurance? Most people have.
Right.
They just don't want to go through the blood work, meeting with a nurse, meeting through whatever else. You tell them, you say, look, these are, I can't say they're group plans. They used to be group plans. They've opened it up, which is nice of them. You can do other employees besides federal, but they're non-medical. You don't have to meet with a nurse, give blood or anything else. They're issued within 5 to 7 days. 7's the longest if they don't need any other medical information, because you're going to run into that. But $100,000 policy, is that enough? It's a start.
Let's bring that up, Will. We'll bring that up on the screen real quick. Let me show that to you. This is what Brad's talking about. So he's looking at this page right here. Okay. So you're looking at this page and you're saying, okay, well, you've only got basic only. But to add another $100,000 in life insurance would cost you for life, forever. That's not going to explode on
65 biweekly, add a couple dollars for the TPA.
Yeah.
They may balk at that, but you remember now, you get all your premiums returned back to you after the 20th year. So I think this guy's 47. At 67, he's got a nice little check coming back to him.
That's right.
Think about that.
That's right.
Think about that. He can, and it's like an added little bonus. If he wants to keep the life insurance, great. If he doesn't, if you can help him grow his TSP, guess what? He may not need as much life insurance down the road.
That's true, right? Like, because that's what people are like, oh, I'm 47 and I got a good TSP, and, I may have needed life insurance back a few years ago. I don't really need it as much anymore. But now,
I hate to say the word savings account because that's how a lot of people sell the whole life. But some people look at it as a savings account.
It can be.
Yeah.
For sure. Especially with the return of premium feature, that's kind of like an easy out.
And if you want to go IUL, go IUL. This is just it's easy, guys. I mean, this is not brain science or
it's
rocket
like a
science.
No-brainer though for like some of the.
And you have your terminal, critical, and chronic. You have all your benefit riders on there. I mean, say God forbid, let's say the guy gets hit by a car and I don't want to say we're paralyzed, but he needs help. Okay, you have these riders that are there to assist the family.
Do they have that in their Fed policy?
They have it in the basic.
In the basic, gotcha.
But the basic is not a lot, okay?
It's not a lot. It's 1 times your salary.
Right,
so
exactly.
1 year's worth of income for your wife or family.
And when you retire, 99.9% it reduces 75%. So if you've got somebody that has, $100,000 policy or $100,000, they're going to have $25,000. $25,000 is not enough life insurance.
It's going to reduce.
I mean, we were talking today about estate planning and everything else.
Yeah.
These policies, the SGUL or the IUL, will basically provide your estate planning down the road.
Okay.
On that.
All right. So that's it. By that point, you're starting to paper them up. You've got an e-app going. They're doing it. You said it's as easy as pie. We'll do a whole nother episode on the e-app process with American National and some of the other carriers that are popular with life insurance in the Fed market. But let's do a summary recap, okay? We'll bring up on the screen again one more time. I'm going to run through what you're doing. So first call, Brad says he's going through and he is obviously getting the information right off the get-go. A lot of it he's already got: name, spouse information, phone numbers, best time to call, those types of things. But then he's moving on and saying, okay, what did you say? You said something about, I got, one of the things that we can do, you're answering their question. That's important to say. So you answer their question, whatever probe them to want to get one of these appointments with you. You're answering that question to the best of your ability, showing your prowess. You're getting giving some credible answers. And then finally you're saying, okay, so one of the things that we do.
One of the things we provide, one of the services we provide is we give you a complete printout or proposal of your federal benefits, being we talk about your TSP, we talk about your pension, then we talk about your insurances.
Right. And this isn't something that you can get at your federal agencies. Like a lot of the time, if you go to your federal agency, you may or may not know this, Miss Client, that they're going to give you some printout about their pension, but they're not going to be able to give you any projections on your FEGLI, not going to give you any projections on your TSP and blah, blah, blah. So it's a nice report that allows you the opportunity to see all of your Fed benefits in one place. So then you're grabbing a couple pieces more of information. So there's a couple more pieces of information I need in order to run that report. That's right here on this questionnaire. You're trying to get as much as you can out of that, but especially this FEGLI information right here with the codes.
You want to get the codes.
You want to get the codes. And that's going to help you. And again, to guide them right here on your sheet, you've got a little guide bar for yourself that talks about the current earnings. It's really the deductions box on their leave and earnings statement. You're going to want to ask them to pull up their leave and earnings statement. Just take a look at it. You don't have to send it to me or anything, but one of the things that'll help us put this paperwork or this benefit analysis together for you is that deduction box on your leave and earnings statement. So if you pull that out, you're going to look at your FEGLI deduction and you should see a code right next to it. What does that code say? Right across on the other side of it, do you see a FEGLI optional? Okay, great. What are the codes there? Grab everything you can grab, and then you set up your next appointment.
Set up the second appointment. Then you go through the second appointment. You start out, I always start out, like I say, if they're 59 and a half and under, which is what we're shooting at here.
59 and a half or under.
Start with their TSP.
Start with the TSP. Then you're going to the pension, and then you're going to the FEGLI.
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I covered the next appointment. We start off, okay, one of the great things that we did was we put together this benefit analysis for you. I'm going to run through it with you. I've emailed you a copy. Go ahead and take a look at it, or you could do a screen share, and you could bring the screen share up where you're actually sharing the screens. Brad has a tremendous process. We're going to do something on that where you can actually see how he moves his screens throughout the conversation. But then he's going to show them, and we'll throw this page back up on the screen here. you're going to start walking them through after you've walked through TSP and FERS or SIRS, ran into a SIRS play, whatever.
Right. And
then you hit them with the FEGLI stuff, right? And so you're starting with this page here, right?
Yeah, I'm starting with this, showing them where they're at now and what's gonna increase. A lot of times you can put little bullet points and everything else in there if you want, but $39, $59, 104.
Right.
And this, guys, this is going to happen.
Right.
On that, okay? And then I use my permanent life insurance quote page.
So you're illustrating, first off, let's just finish this page real quick. So you're illustrating basically the goal of showing them this is to be able to show them that it's going to skyrocket on them as it continues to go on if they keep this insurance, right?
Exactly.
You want that price. So you want, once you've got that established in their heads, you're going to then show them different price breakdowns, right? Mm-hmm. And you already have this prepared when you go into this meeting.
This is why I do the second meeting instead of trying to do it at the first.
Right. No, then you're not busting out the calculator and trying to figure and running illustrations and doing those things. You got this pulled up.
Right, exactly.
All right, so you walk them through this. You're going to talk through, remember this? Oh, I remember this. Right here in order, lifetime coverage up to age 100. Here are all the benefits of having something else. Why stick with this FEGLI option? Why didn't you take a look at other options out there? This is something that a lot of federal employees do, create that groupthink mentality that they're not alone in this. And then you start to show them one of the options is a permanent form in life insurance called a universal life policy. This particular one offers a lifetime coverage up to age 100, return of all premium paid. Then you explain what that means, and has a slew of different living benefits for you, including terminal, critical, chronic, and LTC type. So you're explaining to them what those things mean, and then you go through the cost of the different policies.
You go the face amount, the actual biweekly cost of the policy.
Right.
And then once we replace, and I have paperwork for that I didn't get into here, but there's no reason right now. Once you replace their FEGLI, in this case here on the far right-hand side, it says cost after FEGLI savings. That's exactly what they're paying over what they have now.
Gotcha.
That's why you go down to the 100,000, $26 more is not that much more.
So then you're starting, once they decide, okay, I think I want to move forward with something like that. That looks good. That sounds good to me, blah, blah, blah. You handle any objections that might come up. Then you're moving to getting the e-app going.
Right. I have a little cheat sheet that makes it simple. You can fill out quick on the phone.
Right. You
fill it out. Then we have, and even on the bottom of my cheat sheet, I have this payroll deduction form. It's called a PDA.
Right. That's this form right here.
Social Security, I will walk you through this personally one-on-one. It's just bank routing number, account number, checking amount. That's it.
Beautiful.
No checks, no credit cards.
Right. Makes it so easy. You deduct it straight through their pension or through their paycheck, and your persistency goes through the roof. But then also on the backside of that, you are doing a reduction for the FEGLI. Are you telling them to change their FEGLI plan as well?
Yes, we have Form 2817.
Form 2817. I don't have that.
We have it. It's fillable. We have all that.
You have that fillable form. Yep, so you start filling that out on the phone. This is all on the second call, folks. We're walking through this. You're starting to get things filled out, getting things going for them.
I'm filling that form out once I've done all this because I have all their pertinent information. Right. I feel that I don't want to keep filling. Right. On that. It's just simple. I send it to them, email it to them.
Boom, boom, boom. Let's get this all done.
Right.
And then the app is ready and going by the time you hang up call 2.
It sounds like a lot, but think about it. I've said this 1,000 times in this same room when we have advisors come in. I have now it's whittled down a little bit because people, I hate to say this, dying and passing away. And I had over 1,000 universal life policies on the books.
I don't doubt it, man.
Okay. And it's, to get to that 1,000, I had to write my first one. And when I put all this together many, many years ago, guys, so I kind of was a trailblazer of this. Was it a pain in the, It was terrible.
Yeah.
But it's a little bit of work. Guess what? We work anyway, right?
The thing is, I've seen you do this and it's like a conveyor belt. Mm-hmm. Now, it's a no-brainer, especially when you've done your seminars and stuff. When these people come out to your seminars, they come out, you teach on this subject, you start to explain how the FEGLI is going to explode and how you have a solution for them. And then finally, they just start to line up afterwards. It's a no-brainer. And the virtual world hasn't really changed anything. You just go through their initial question and then pivot to a full benefit explanation and then start talking about the life insurance.
But here's the point. What this does is you replace somebody's FEGLI. Two things are going to happen. They're going to become a client.
Yeah.
Which means if you keep in contact with them, however you want to do a tickler file, email, birthday, whatever you want to do, they're going to turn 59 and a half at some point. More importantly, they have other federal employees they work with.
Right.
Okay. They will give you leads. And this is something else I've told agents. Some listen to me, some don't. When you work with federal employees, you work inside a bubble. Don't pressure them.
Right.
Don't pressure them, because if you pressure one, guess what? They think you're going to pressure the referral they won't give to you on that.
Yeah.
But you will turn this into a little gold mine of just the FEGLI replacements. I know people that make a living just off of this.
No doubt. I have no doubt about that.
I mean, I didn't do the 59.5 TSP rollovers till about 10 years ago, because I was like a machine out there writing life insurance.
Well, I mean, it's a no-brainer, and everybody you talk to is a potential client.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
So anyway, Brad, thank you so much for sharing this right here on the show. If you enjoyed today, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and smash the like button. Brad, thanks again for being on the show. We'll have more to come right here on Coffee for Closers. As always, I'm Alex Wellings, and we'll see you next time right here on the show.